Sophia's car rattled softly as it moved along the narrow road, the fuel gauge hovering dangerously close to empty. The late afternoon sun hung low, staining the sky with orange and gold, but Sophia barely noticed. Her mind was fixed on the interview. She had just left another reaction disguised polite smiles and empty promises. She had worn her only good jacket, rehearsed her answers all night, and still felt invisible. She told herself not to cry, tears wasted Anna, and Anna was something she couldn't afford to lose. That was when the car pulled over ahead, hazard lights blinking weakly like a distress signal. A man stood beside it. Phone pressed to his ear, frustration clear even from a distance. Sophia hesitated. She was tired, broke, and already late getting home. Helping someone else felt like a luxury, but slowed down anyway, as if her conscience had reached for the brake before her foot did. She pulled over and stepped out, the cool brought in her face. The man looked up surprised. He was well-dressed, too well-dressed for this quiet stretch of road. His sleeves rolled up awkwardly as if he wasn't used to manual work. He explained that he had a flat tire and no signal strong enough to call for help. Sophia nodded, opened her trunk, and pulled out the old yacht she had learned to use out of necessity. Her father had taught her years ago, back when he was still around. As they walked, the man Alex tried to help. It was clear he didn't know much about changing a tire. Sophia guided him patiently, brushing off his apologies. They talked while they walked about small things at first. He said he was traveling for work. She said she was job hunting. Neither gave details, as if both were used to keeping parts of themselves hidden. When the tire was finally replaced, Alex looked genuinely relieved. He offered to pay higher, but she refused. Money always came with strings, and this moment felt lighter without them. He thanked her again, sincerely, and for a brief second their eyes met in a way that felt meaningful. The neither could explain why. Sophia drove away soon after, unaware that the small delay would cost her more than she realized. By the time she reached home, an email waited in her inbox. A polite reaction. She stood at the screen, chest tight, thinking about the minutes she had lost on that road. Still, she couldn't bring herself to regret stopping. Somewhere deep inside, a quiet voice told her she had done the right thing. The reaction email said open on Sophia's laptop long after the song had set. She read it over and over as if the words might change if she stood hard enough. They didn't. Her shoulders sagged as the weight of disappointment set in. Rent was due soon. The grocery list was already thin. That interview had felt like a lifeline, and now it was gone. Across the city, Alex sat in the back seat of a car that wasn't his, listening to executives discuss schedules and investments. The flat tire incident replayed in his mind more than he expected it to. Something about the woman who had helped him lingered. Her calm confidence, her refusal of money, the way it spoke about work with both hope and exhaustion. It nagged at him in a way that quarterly reports never did. Later that evening, Alex reviewed a stack of candidate profiles sent by the company's hot team. One resume caught his eye. The name made him pause. The photo sealed it. It was her, Sophia, the same woman who had knelt on the roadside, hands dirty, helping a stranger without hesitation. According to the notes, she had arrived slightly late for the interview and was dismissed early. The reason felt trivial now. Alex leaned back, conflicted. He wasn't supposed to interfere. Rules existed for a reason, yet they are not at him. The company valued integrity and initiative, and the one person who had embodied those qualities most clearly had been overlooked because she chose kindness over punctuality. Sophia, meanwhile, went to bed restless, replaying the interview and the roadside encounter in equal measure. She wondered if helping Alex had been a mistake. Life had taught her that good deeds didn't always pay rent. Still, something about that moment had felt important, as if it mattered beyond immediate consequences. The next morning, Alex requested more information about Sophia's application. He was surprised but complied. He spent the day debating with himself, weighing professionalism against conscience. By evening he had made a decision. He wouldn't rewrite the rules, but he could open a door. When Sophia's phone rang the next day, she almost didn't answer. Unknown numbers usually meant bills or bad news, but she picked up and Alex's voice came through. Calm and familiar, he explained who he was and why he was calling. Sophia listened in stone silence, unsure whether to feel hopeful or suspicious. He invited her to meet again, this time not the erased candidate but someone whose character had already spoken volumes. As the call ended, Sophia sat very still, heart racing. For the first time in weeks, disappointment loosened its grip, replaced by Katz's curiosity. Fate, it seemed, wasn't finished with her yet. The cafe was quiet, filled with the soft hum of conversation and the smell of fresh coffee. Sophia arrived early, nerves fluttering in her chest. She reminded herself not to expect anything. Life had taught her that expectations often lead to disappointment. Still, she smoothed her jacket and straightened her posture when Alex walked in. The conversation started carefully. Alex explained his role at the company, leaving out unnecessary titles, focusing instead on values and goals. Sophia listened, arms crossed loosely, guiding herself without fully realizing it. She spoke honestly about her background, jobs, missed opportunities, the constant balancing act between survival and ambition. Alex didn't interrupt. He noticed how her eyes lit up when she talked about ideas, about wanting to create something meaningful. It wasn't polished ambition, it was raw and genuine. He realized then that what had stayed with him wasn't just her kindness on the roadside, but her quiet strength. Sophia in turn studied him more closely. He wasn't what she expected. There was no arrogance, no condescension. He spoke thoughtfully even when discussing power and influence. Yet she couldn't shake the fear that this was some sort of test or worse pity. Alex addressed it directly. He told her he didn't believe in handouts, only in recognizing potential where others missed it. He admitted that the system often failed people like her. The honesty disarmed her. By the end of the meeting, Sophia felt something unfamiliar. At this hope, Alex invited her to a formal session with senior leadership, emphasizing that nothing was guaranteed. As they parted, Sophia walked home slowly, replaying the conversation. She didn't know if this would lead anywhere, but for the first time in a long while she felt seen. The bedroom intimidated Sophia the moment she stepped inside. Glass walls, sleek furniture, people in tailored suits, it all felt far removed from her reality. She took a deep breath, reminding herself to belong wherever her effort had taken her. The discussion was intense but fair. Questions challenged her thinking, pushed her to defend her ideas. Sophia surprised herself with how confidently she responded. Years of struggling had sharpened her instincts. She spoke not from theory, but from lived experience, and the room listened. Alex watched quietly, proud but careful not to interfere. He saw that shift in the executive's expressions. They began to understand what he had seen from the beginning. This wasn't charity, this was talent. When the meeting ended, Sophia was exhausted. She waited outside, staring at the city skyline through the glass, trying to calm her racing thoughts. Alex joined her moments later with a smile she couldn't quite read. The offer was clear and generous: training, mentorship, a salary that would change everything. Sophia's first instinct was disbelief, her second was fear. Accepting meant stepping into a world she had only ever observed from the outside. That night, she barely slept. She thought about the road she had been on when she stopped to help Alex. How close she had come to driving past in the morning. She made her decision. Road, she realized, was always uncomfortable. Sophia's life changed quietly at first. New routines replaced old survival habits. She learned, adapted, stumbled, and kept going. The work challenged her, but it also energized her. For the first time, effort led to progress instead of exhaustion. Alex became a steady presence, guiding without controlling, encouraging without overwhelming. Their conversations deepened, moving beyond work into thought reflections on choices, mistakes, and second chances. What had begun as coincidence slowly transformed into connection. Sophia never forgot where she came from. She used her position to advocate for others, remembering how easily potential could be overlooked. Each small victory felt like proof that kindness wasn't weakness, it was power. One evening, she found herself driving the same road where everything had begun. She pulled over briefly, stepping out to watch the sun set. She smiled, thinking of how one small decision had altered the course of her life.